Thank you very, very much. I've created an environment for us this evening. And at the moment, it's wet with rain. And surprise, surprise, right? We're here in Washington, and that is what our spring has become, is very, very wet with rain. And over here, hanging in the apple tree, is a selection of poems that I've chosen for my reading tonight. And I thought maybe I would just pluck one off the tree and share it with you. So the first one is entitled Spring. Crisp blue days, do you remember? Fountains ring a vibrant timber, green leaves bound from still brown branches, springing toward the heat of the sun. Dive deep. Numbers. All we hear and say are numbers, as if quantifying a thing could qualify its effects. At the boiling point where solid becomes liquid, becomes gaseous, and rises as vapor, as something primordial, awaiting lightning strike, stirred from their slumber, amino acids in the broth expand to become what dared to exist. Oh baby, what you done to me. Between the meteoric hits were the shimmy and the shake and the ooh baby, yeah, that's it, right there, yeah, what you done to me. 'Cause you make me feel, yeah, you make me feel like a natural woman. The ocean longs for your return to the immeasurable, in realms wet and wordless, at a frequency of ineffable refrains to what qualifies. You make me feel so alive. Dive deep. Don, this one may speak to your realm of work. I have some history, which is why I feel it's actually quite serendipitous that Leopoldo put you and I together to co-feature. I think I was somehow slowly practicing life again on the process of rebuilding. Rebuilding a life after a traumatic brain injury is a process of one foot in front of the other, again and again and again. I may take small steps. I may step backwards some days, but every day I make the commitment to myself to keep moving forward. Robert Brault once said, an optimist is someone who figures that taking a step backward after taking a step forward is not a disaster, it's a cha-cha. Makes me laugh, reminds me to be gentle, to help those who can't help themselves, to lift the weight of suffering again and again and again. I'm gonna go for this one. If my body was a poem, if my body was a poem, it would be written by Rumi. His Sufic words would honor the love in my veins, follow the sinews of muscles with his pen, touching every memory they contain of skipping rope and skipping rocks, of the stirring beneath sheets on those pre-waking mornings when you just knew it had snowed in the night. Wake up, a magical world awaits you. If my body was a poem, the stanzas would dance on the page in dervish whirls, spinning, spinning, and spinning. Hands held aloft, gently framing the ethereal of what is, that is so often missed in these modern times, whispering notes of nothingness, cooing on each gyrating toe push, round and round and round. Wake up, a magical world awaits you. If my body was a poem, Shams would know the poet lover's devotion to him. This one's a bit different. How fun is that? Makes me stronger. My friend Scott here gave me the title. He helped me with that. Thank you, Scott. It's a long one. It wasn't the fetus that died before my birthday, the one that threatened to kill our mom in the Catholic hospital in Portland when they sped in, when the ones in habits wouldn't help her release it, spat, "It is against God's will." Dad was livid as her fever rose. If she had died, I would have missed my own conception, but 2 years later got to choose them as parents. It wasn't the crack of the baseball bat to my head as I tottered out the front door to meet my brother's proud backswing. "She'll be okay. He needs your help," Dad's baritone commanded pointedly to her, the kitchen towel on his lap reddening under one hand on my head as the other gripped the wheel steering us backwards out the drive. Stitches and a lollipop for bravery. I didn't drown after my little girlfriend and I promised her folks we would replace the cover so the fragrant pink manzanita blossoms wouldn't clog the trap. When she waved the tarp like a girl matador, as I, still in the water, spread it like a quilt, got stuck in the deep, and beneath it for many disoriented moments, my legs not yet grown long enough to push off the bottom. I didn't die of tetanus on the steep slope above St. Hilary's, where among cheers from friends, I sailed giddily skyward in the salty air rising up from Richardson Bay, crash landing in a swirl of brown dust through a web of rusty coils over the rim of the old trampoline, cut up under a canopy of gum trees and a blue as blue sky beyond skirting Mount Tamalpais, running home for betadine and hugs. As the trucks locked and a wheel came off the go-kart John and Dean had built by hand and I careened to the cement on Spanish Trail when it was my go, it actually wasn't. On the field trip to San Francisco Park, when the stranger asked me to follow him and I went, we sat on the grass talking. I think he was just lonely. When I joined the other second graders, we marched single file to sit indoors under the stars of the Morrison Planetarium. I idled fondly the daisy chain I'd made, searching for the stem the stranger split with his thumbnail before he clasped it on my small wrist, unharmed and smiling with the galaxies above. Roller skate and skateboard prangs yielded broken arms in plaster casts that were signed like guest books by visitors to Owie Town. Slow down, champ. Love you, Mom. Have a great summer. See you next fall. I survived a buck-naked dash from the tub, hell-bent on getting a toy from my room, dripping, tripping on the cord of a shadeless lamp. Flesh from my back stuck to the exposed bulb, reeked to high heaven. Playing in the middle of 5th Street, I twisted my ankle and then watched a red line crawl its way up my leg. When my folks saw it, they once again sped me to the ER. I had surgery in the big city the next day. They bought me a book on mountaineering to give me hope. I didn't die by blood poison reaching my heart from a mystery infection. I wasn't killed in the ski accident when a skier merged off a cat track and slammed me to the hard-packed snow, causing a brain injury. Subsequent tests revealed a hole in my heart since birth. Even heart surgery wasn't my last straw, nor the decade-and-a-half migraine, though to date, it's been the strongest contender. Defying death is an art I'm apparently pretty good at. So far, my survival rate's 100%. I wear my scars like peons to adventure and will live fully until the day I breathe no more, sweetly released from this mortal coil. You having fun yet? Am I good on time, Leopoldo? Okay. This one's called Move Beyond. Oh, wait, I read this. Read it, done. This one is for us poets. License and registration. Please say, ah. On the state's licensing website, sifting a list of professions, the standard headings that float in infrastructure, medical and dental, transportation, restaurant, engineer. There are also nail and hair techs, bail bonds, tattoo, body piercing, and body art. Where's the poet? Among the more obtuse are amusement ride inspectors, animal massage, artists, kickboxers, professional timekeepers, boxing, wrestling, and martial arts, trauma service designation. Where's the poet? Maybe a field so valuable is beyond taxation, something so potent, so necessary, undefinable and indefatigable, pen and pad at the ready. I can see it now at the accident site as EMTs triage the casualties. One might land a hot case of existential angst, eyes fixed on nothing, trying to make sense of everything. Vacant hands held aloft, fingers clench, miming around a phantom steering wheel. Where's the poet? The EMT calls out, poet, we need a poet here, stat. It's okay, we're here. Breathe, you're gonna be all right. Close your eyes, we have something to show you. Their fingers ease from clenching. It's going to take a team of us. Just listen, slowly. A team of us. You can't tax this. This one's about my father. Whew. Blonde behind blue eyes. Looking over Queen Anne at dawn towards my father's youth, I see his attempts to survive, a father set on family life, who welded his parameters on his young son's soul, twisting fortune over imagination, like the paper wire ties his mother wove around the cheese sandwich in his brown bag lunch. My father, a child of God, wanting only to be loved, be accepted, was instead met with blows for being different, unique, a freak, the only blue-eyed blonde boy in a sea of auburn locks. scalded by an exploded coffee urn, a last straw camel back-breaking mistake, relegated him as a youth to live at the family property at Agate Pass, where from atop a log, he watched US naval subs stream out Puget Sound to fight Hirohito's imperial expansion as his grandmother, like the Queen Mum herself, manicured her rhododendrons in a baby blue housecoat. My grandfather wore a mustache like Hitler's. His presence loomed like a cloud of manipulations. I'm grateful I don't remember much else about him. My father didn't fail. His role models were bastards. He succeeded at being himself, a blue-eyed, blonde sheep in a brackish pasture, steering clear of the wolf pack convoy in Pacific waters. Whiskey, tango, foxtrot. Here's a small one. Donations. A giving heart. Heart of a lion. Lions share. Share and share alike. Like no other. Otherwise an eternal. Eternal spirit. Spirit of the giving heart. Donations. It hasn't been addressed yet tonight, but we all know of Uvalde. And I have dear friends who I visited in Uvalde a few years ago, stayed with them. Our hearts are definitely with them. And there's really not much to say. This one I call Homecoming. Subtitled, I will live this day as if I won't be shot by someone. I will live this day and not shoot anyone. I will live this day well, just, and kind. So when my night's sleep has ended and I, with another chance to awaken pre-dawn, will return to trim back maiden's blush lilacs, lending a series of waves at the minivan caravan sortie, as neighborhood moms and dads drive their wee daughters and sons to elementary. Their adult children drive themselves to college. They drive themselves to tall buildings or return to the roost for the day. Looking up from cutting back, brown euphorbia, hands protected from its toxic white sap, midday, I will wave as the broods redescend. Tail lights flicker off in the drives as tiny backpacks drop, swapped for basketballs. I will live this day as though all will return at their day's end. Blue popsicle sticks will drip in sticky hands before giddy bare feet run to glide again and again the length of a slip and slide. On a side yard, a dog will watch through a fence. Young laughs will echo over the street and anoint the hybrid tea roses in their buds, then move through the mighty ancient walnut to the young crabapple slowly growing to gift my gardening face its grin. Can you hear the baby blackcaps chickadee-dee-dees? They are just fledging the nest. They are just fledging the nest in the old birdhouse shaped like a church where the hummingbirds sip from dwarf-crested irises. As wind chimes jingle, gentle breezes mingle with the chorus of bells on bikes freshly freed from training wheels, Sweet sounds waft amid bent branches of the contorted hazelnut as Cantonese soliloquies syncopate their rich tones. All that ever is was created in darkness. All that grows does so by moving towards the light. Let us rise together in all the numinous spaces, knowing the chickadees will return next spring to begin the cycle again. If that's about time, I can close, or I have a couple others if I have more time.
I have made a strong commitment, which I've held on to for years now, that I do not keep track of the time. That's entirely
Okay.
up to you.
Let's see. Two more. And in the background here is a shell kind of wind feature that my girlfriend in Australia made for me many, many years ago. And the bird feeder up here where the chickadees, the chickadee-dee-dees have been visiting. Taking my time. Where I am is a far cry from where I was. I still have a long way to go to be who I long to be. Last one. Perfectly imperfect. We plod the path of knowledge through fields of the unknown, hiking over regrets and loss, stopping at alpine lakes to skip our questions on cool, still waters, finding answers along the surface in transient shadowed ripples. What is the tear weight of a human before the packs of all that is unseen are hitched to back, balanced on hip? One must choose with precise hands what to take for a journey. Steps we take towards the within cannot be measured on Fitbits. Apple Watches cannot graph the moments that take our breath away. Tug the surface back slightly of flesh and muscle to reveal the deep rhythms of a chorus of communal heartbeats over 8 billion strangers strong. So many faces unlike our own. These steps we take to move beyond ourselves, to forge deeper relationships, to connect with one another. To make a human being, first, we must forget ourselves. Thank you ever so much.